Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom Yasharala.
Shabbat Shalom.
And Kankan. Toward the Most High, Shalom Ashikawashai. We're bringing in a close to the week. Oh, Shalom Ashikawashai, we're on a good week. Prosperous week. Looking forward now to keeping our bar under the bargain as per the covenant that Israel made with the Most High. The 7th day, day of rest. They stand to acknowledge the Most High for choosing Israel from the other nations. We're going to go into scriptures today. That's basically a scripture, history and revelation at the same time. History and prophecy at the same time. I'll give it away. Revelation chapter 13. Oh, yeah, Colossians 3:17 verse.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Mashiach, give it thanks to Yahweh and the Father by him.
Whatever you do in the word, whatever you do in deed or word, do all in the spirit of the Most High and Mashiach Yahweh. We're going to go to Revelation chapter 13, as I said, is a scripture giving an account of historical events and also prophecies, things that haven't happened yet, what will take place.
You said 13 or 14?
13.
13?
Yeah, 1-3. What? What? Yeah, 13. Start with verse 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 1. Come when you get it. The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood up, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Yeah, this is John the Revelator. John the Revelator was on the island of Patmos. This was after the Romans destroyed our temple. This is we're talking about like 90-something AD, after the Mashiach Yahweh. Understand? The Romans, as we know, were occupying our homeland and destroyed our temple in 70 AD. And most of our people ran up into Africa and other territories to avoid the Roman persecution. But some of our people are still held in captivity, including John the Revelator on the island of Patmos, just on the so-called Middle East. And this is the vision that the Most High showed to John the Revelator. A beast having 7 heads and 10 horns. So we're going to get to 7 heads and 10 horns, and up on his heads, the name of blasphemy. Blasphemy is just total wickedness. After the contrary to the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him seat and great authority.
Right, this beast, as I saw, was like unto a leopard, and his feet as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power. Who's the dragon? Yeah.
Esau.
No. Who's the dragon? Dragon is Satan. The dragon is Satan. Greater dragon. The dragon is Satan, which means this beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads and 10 horns represent various kingdoms. And that's various kingdoms, which these kingdoms are Esau, different Edomite kingdoms. Who got their power from who? The dragon. So these Edomite kingdoms got their power from the dragon. The 7 heads we're talking about when we talk about Greek, Greece, Rome, Spain, French, Germany, Russia, British. Some people may dispute the Russia. They say it's not Russia, but it's Germany major and Germany minor. So these are some kingdoms which John the Revelator was being showed by the Most High. They get the authority and power from Satan. Then if you observe these kingdoms, most of these kingdoms, most of these nations, who are so-called Christian nations, even though they may have other ethnic groups among them, Arabs or other Muslim. Christian called democracy, and they all go contrary to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. All these kingdoms are one by one being seduced by the way of America. The 10 horns, like we're talking about Britain, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Norway, Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark, Luxembourg. In today's terms, we're talking about the European nations, the EU. So these are the nations that John the Revelator was seen having their power, get their power from the dragon. Read.
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. Read.
And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed. Who's that talking about? Let me name the 7 heads again. Greece, Romans, Spain, French, German major, German minor, and Britain. No.
Who was that wounded head that was
Yeah, it was the head that was wounded.
Is it Romans?
Yeah, it was Romans. You know when? You have an idea when?
I don't remember. That's when after they failed, and then America's like New Rome or whatever.
No, well, they fell like to the 197 AD. Heard about Septimius Severus? That's when the Romans started falling. That's when the Romans started falling, and the dark nations started emerging as rulership, including Israel. Like we're talking about 197 AD, going up to like the 325 AD, like Constantine, who was really an Israelite, but he's following the custom of the Roman. He was the one that so-called legalized Christianity in 325 AD. Understand? At the time, the Edomite Rome fell, but then Jake started ruling. Israelites started ruling. But the government basically shifted from Western Rome to Eastern Rome, a place like they call Constantinople. That's when the dark nations started ruling, including Israel. That's when Rome fell. This is what this is talking about right here. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death. If you recall, Israel ruled for like over 1,000 years. Understand? That's when the deadly wound was healed. The head was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. When was the wound healed? No, before America came.
Can you repeat that?
When was the wound healed? Read it again. Read verse 3 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Right, I saw one of the heads. I just named the 7 heads. There's those 7 heads are different nations under the Edomite race. They rule at different times. And I saw one of the heads as it was wounded to death, meaning one of those nations. When the head was wounded to death, meaning what? They fell. They fell from the rulership that the previous they had. And I just mentioned that I was talking about Rome, born in about 197 AD, when Israel started ruling. A name that comes to mind is Septimius Severus, because the Roman Empire, which we know, consisted of various ethnic groups. One of the main ethnic groups in the military, just like today. A lot of Esau's army today, the American army today, a lot of Jakes in the American army. A lot of our people, man, because of economic conditions or whatever, as soon as they leave high school because they know it's hard to find a job, a lot of poor people, what they do, they join the military. Even a career of the military. Because Esau, he said, entice them, say, come join the military, you get an education, you get this kind of grant, get this and that and so forth, promising all kind of things which they never really got. And after they leave the military, they come back, they're strung on drugs, unemployed, can't get no compensation from Esau and all that. Just like back in the days, a lot of our people, a lot of Israelites in the Roman army. And the faction of the Israelites were one of the ones who rose up against Rome and wounded their head. So my question now is, when was the head healed? Before that. Yeah, but not yet. But yeah. You know what's called the Renaissance period.
Yeah.
A Renaissance. Understand? We're talking about 1453. September of 1453, when the Ottoman Turks came into power. That's when Esau or Romans are coming back into rulership. When they established Caesar Borgia, started pushing Caesar Borgia, and all the world wandered after the beast. But all the world now was wandering after the beast. All the world is falling after Caesar Borgia. That's when they put the image out, Caesar Borgia. And everyone was calling Christianity. That was what they call. That's what they call it. What, the rebirth. Yeah. That's what Renaissance means. Rebirth. The wound was the head was wounded to death, but now it's a rebirth. In what? A revitalization of the Roman Empire and the way of life. And now they did that was with Caesar Borgia was a very essential part of that scheme of things. All the world wandered after peace. And so they started pushing Christianity everywhere. The whole world got indoctrinated with Christianity. You know what they call the Renaissance period. That's when also they went to the campaign to demolish all the icons and statues and monuments of Israel and the dark nations. Read these certain history books, you know, or the chiseled of the lips, the thick lips, the thick nose, and all that, because all those are a reminder that Israel ruled for over 1,000 years. And they didn't want that. Understand? They want to put that to the side and have it believe that so-called white people have been ruling from creation, which is a lie. Read verse 4.
Book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast.
Right. And they worship the dragon. The dragon is not Esau. The dragon is Satan. They worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. Who's the beast? Can you see the distinction? You got to know who the dragon is and who the beast is. So who's the dragon? No. You're there, right. Satan. Exactly. And who's the beast? He's right. The different nations are different Edomite nations. So, and they worship the dragon. All nations at this point are worshiping the dragon because the ones who were following Christianity and their doctrines, their philosophy, who gave power unto the beast. Satan gave power unto the beast, which is Esau. Read.
And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast?
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they start now pushing that out, white so-called white supremacy. At this point, like the 1450s, that's the slave trade is on, going on full force, slave trade, transatlantic slave trade and all that. All that's going on to full force now. White supremacy, the so-called white people all over the world. In Brazil, and they were moving over people from all over the world, bringing them to the Americas, North America, South America, the Caribbean, various parts of Europe. Who's like unto the beast? They said, who's like unto the so-called white man? Now they're pushing this on, it's their rebirth now. Understand? They were in the Caucasus Mountains, for over 1,000 years, being oppressed by the dark nations, including Israel. But now they come back into power. Who's like unto them? Is that question. Read.
Who is able to make war with him?
Yeah, who was able to make war with the so-called white man during that time? No, they were the superpower in the earth now at that time. The 15th century, the 1400s. Who was able to make war with them? Read.
Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies.
And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. What are some of the great things that Esau, the blasphemous things that Esau was speaking during that time? Give me Job 9:24.
The book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Right. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The Renaissance. So Esau was given power here. Satan gave power. But the Messiah allowed Satan to give power unto the Edomites. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. What does that mean? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Go ahead.
He was like,
Okay.
covered out face.
How do they do that?
With checks, my bad.
The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Who's the he, by the way? The wicked. Right. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Right? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Who's the he?
The other nations.
No. Read verse 24.
Book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Right.
He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
Who covered the faces of the judges thereof? The wicked, exactly. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, meaning the wicked are ruling now. Understand? And what did the wicked do? Cover the faces of the judges thereof. Like I mentioned earlier, they went through this campaign of, dismantling all the icons and statues of Israel and the dark nations. Destroying destroying of the statues or any monuments or anything that was proof that Israel was ruling before them. They did that. And also, what did they do? Get Jeremiah 17:4.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17. in verse 4, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
Right. So at that time also, Israel has been slavery coming up. We saw this, I don't know if anyone was old enough to see Roots or the rerun of Roots or whatever. When so-called Kunta Kinte came over here and he was beaten, I said, what's your name? He was beaten by the slave masters. Your name is no longer Kunta Kinte, your name is now Toby. You were stripped of your heritage, your nationality, your identity, and given a new identity. That's all, we were no longer made to get also Psalms 83. We were no longer made to recognize ourselves as Israelites. We were told that, hey, African, blacks, niggers, whatever. We were given all those names by the so-called white men to hide the fact of who we are. That's part of the process of covering the faces of the judges thereof. We are the judges. How do you know we're the judges? We're the ones given the laws, statutes, and commandments. You can't be a judge until you know the law. If you look around in society, for you to be a judge, you have to be very proficient in the law, right? So what I do is say they cover the faces of the judges thereof. It's talking about us Israelites. We're the only ones given the laws, statutes, and commandments. Understand? So we are the judges. When we came out of Egypt to Moses, what did Moses initially do? As far as the government went. Before we had kings, what do we have? What did our government consist of? Judges. But we wanted to be like the other nations, so we wanted our kings just like that. Understand? Get Psalm 83 also.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
Right. So Most High, David said, keep not your silence, Yahweh. Don't sit back and let this go down. You got to do something about this. Hold not thy peace, and be not still. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They're making an uproar. They're making a revolt. They're trying to overthrow righteousness and establish wickedness. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They're getting proud now. Getting puffed up. Because what? They see that they're about to get power. Read on.
Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
What does that mean? They have taken craft. What does craft mean? It's a plot, right? Craft and cunning. Read.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted. What does it mean to consult? When you consult someone, what does that mean? You reach out to someone to get their advice, their input. You talk as confederates to come up with different ideas and strategies and schemes to see how you can approach a certain situation. And the situation we're talking about right here is to deprive Israel of their true identity, to hide the fact from us that we're the Hebrew Israelites. Read.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
That's what the nation said. Come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Meaning what? You were us be scattered from our homeland and been brought to various parts of the world. You were, as you know, in slavery, you weren't allowed to read. Whatever you learned from the Bible was what the so-called white man told you and interpreted to suit their purpose. You had the fact from you that you were the Hebrew Israelites and the chosen, the Most High. Cut them off from being a nation. You were told you're Africans. You were told that the so-called white people in the Middle East, that they're the real Jews. That's how we got cut off from being a nation. That's how the wicked cover the faces of the judges thereof. They cover the faces that no one knows, no one can identify you as being the Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Read.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right. So people don't know the Israelites. There was a process in which this took place. It didn't just happen overnight. There's a process of schemes, plot. Or they consulted these the wicked, the different various nations of Edomites, along with other nations also, consulted one with each other. Take privy counsel with each other to see how they can destroy us. Because all those nations played a role in slavery. Even to this very day, all those nations in our community are benefited from us. Look around in our neighborhoods. The various businesses in our neighborhoods that are owned by not the so-called white men, Moab, Ishmael, Elam, Ammon, all those various nations in our community, man. They get a slice of cake at our expense. That's what this is talking about. We don't know the name of Israel is no longer in our remembrance. Read.
Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent.
Yeah, see, all in one accord. None of these nations like you, man. Read.
They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab.
Right, Edom is so-called white men, Ishmael is so-called Egyptians, Moab so-called Chinese. Ishmael are the so-called Arabs, Moab so-called Chinese, the Hagarenes, the so-called Egyptians. Now let's go back to that's just how the various nations cover the faces of the judges, Israelites. So we no longer know, or people no longer know. That's why you have such a hard time. You know what, people, man? We don't have so much nationality, they tell you anything. They tell you what they are, the Baptists, they give a religion. Tell you what the black, they give a color. This is all prophecy coming to pass. The conspiracy, the consultation of these different nations to hide the fact from us who we are, covering our faces and hiding our identity. Us be discontinued from our heritage. You know, read Jeremiah 7:24?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to Revelation. Yeah.
With this scripture right here, I think all before, we had someone at our gate. So apparently they knew that there was no one at our gate and they could do this. And they put a counsel up against us. How do they know then that God wasn't going to, like before when God said, look, I want y'all to take this land. And we would have took that land, we had no worries about that. But now all of a sudden, somehow they know that they can do us like this. So they come and take us.
The Most High put the spirit in them to do that. The Most High.
I'm saying, how do they know? How do they know that they can do that? How do they know that they can come and take us? Because all before, if they would have came to our gate, how much y'all would stop them? So,
Like back in our homeland, they couldn't do that, but now they can do it.
in the homeland, yeah. In the homeland, I'm talking about back in the homeland.
Uh-huh.
How do they know? You see, they showing everybody, these mics and all them, they came up against us. They sought counsel against us. They plotted against us. So how do they know on the project that they said we're going, that they're not going to come try to take us and then all of a sudden,
I say this, even back in the days, they always knew who we were, man. They always knew we were Israelite. They always, even coming to Egypt, they heard of the fame. They heard of how we did to remember this last Sabbath we read on the the scriptures. When Joshua sent the two brothers to spy out the land, and went to the harlot, and the harlot heard of how Israel destroyed those other nations before coming to Egypt. I know she was trembling. That's why, because the fame was going out. The word was always going out. Of all the Most High risen of Israel, or the Most High used it to destroy those nations. So they always knew of the deed of Israel as per the Most High.
So right here is
Mhm.
they knew that we wasn't protected, that they could come and take us.
Right.
How do they know?
The Most High put a spirit in the Most High put a spirit in them to be aware of that. The Most High sent them against us. Understand? It's always the Most High dropping our guard and raising up those nations to come against us.
Showing us that they knew. They might say, well, we go take them. If this might happen, this might happen.
Let me see something. I need to try my 32.
Yeah, that's all like you said. That's
Give me, yes, let's get Deuteronomy 32. Yeah. Some verse 26.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, in verse 26. I said, I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men.
See, so Moses did this. See that? Who's the Moses talking about right here? He's talking about Israel. I said, I would, the Moses, this is about the time of Moses. The Moses was prophesying that this would take place. I said, I would scatter them into corners. Scatter who into corners? Israel, into four corners of the earth. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So this goes very, very much with what we just read in Psalms 83. The Most High made all those things happen. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So the Most High calls us to be discontinued from our heritage, like we just read in Jeremiah also, Jeremiah 17:4. The Most High did that. Moses, whatever happens, it is not coincidental. It's the Most High orchestrating everything.
That's not my question.
What?
My question is, how did other nations
Mm-hmm.
know that we was falling in this hole, that they could come against us? Like they say they're gonna seek counsel against us, come and get us. How do they know that them coming against us, that the Most High won't just do something to us?
So the Most High put the spirit in them to do that.
Yeah.
The Most High put the spirit in them to do that. Understand? The Most High said it. We're gonna read. I will read. It may be a bit clearer. I'll read on.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, and verse 27. Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Most High have not done all this.
See, the Most High was concerned that these nations may think that they're the ones actually doing this of themselves. So the Most High said right here, were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest the adversaries, Israel adversaries, should behave themselves strangely, unless they should say, our hand is high. We're the ones with this power. We're the one with this might. And the Most High have not done this himself. So the Most High is concerned that his nation may be pumped up to the point that they think that they're the ones really in charge of this. They're the ones orchestrating this, when it's in fact the Most High put the spirit in them to go against Israel. Understand? It's the Most High who's doing this. The Most High is weakening Israel and strengthening the nation to go against Israel. And as I read on, it's going to be more clearer. Read.
Verse 28. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them.
Right, the nations are void of counsel. There's no understanding in them. They may think, hey, we're the ones doing this. Read on.
Verse 29. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end.
Right, see? If only they knew, man, that even though they destroyed Israel, they're going to pay for it. If only they were wise. They're not wise. that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. Remember what the Moses said to Abraham, when the Moses said, before Israel is even born, he said, he's going to make a nation out of you. And they know for a fact that the nation is going to go to captivity, which was Egypt. And he said that very nation that's going to have them in captivity, the Moses will judge. Even I'm saying before that even happened, the Moses orchestrated it that way. That very nation, which was the Egyptians, which will have our people in captivity for over 400 years, the Moses is going to turn around and judge them. Same thing happened. Even though the Moses sent his nations to take on Israel, the Moses is going to judge his nations. He's going to recompense and repercussions for what they do to Israel. Even though the Moses used them to punish Israel because Israel broke the Moses' laws, statutes, and commandments, the Moses is going to turn around and use Israel to recompense, take recompense of these nations. That's why the Moses, if only they knew the end. Read.
Verse 30. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them, and the Most High shut them up?
You see that, brother? You understand that verse 30? You understand verse 30? Huh? Yeah. How should one chase 1,000? One person chase 1,000. You know, one heathen chase 1,000 Israelites. And two put 10,000 to flight. Two heathen chase 10,000 Israelites. Except their rock has sold them. What does that say? Understand what I'm saying? How can one heathen chase 1,000 Israelites, or two heathens chase 10,000 Israelites, except their rock, the Mosai, has sold us? The rock is the Mosai, the foundation. Right, that's what I'm saying. The Mosai, exactly. The Mosai weakened us and strengthened them and sent them again, put the spirit in them to come against us. They didn't just up one day decide to do that. The Mosai sent them. Exactly. You can harden your heart. Yeah, harden your heart anytime. Except their rock has sold them, and the Lord has shut them up. The Mosai was in charge of this. Man. Read on.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 31. For the rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges.
Yeah, for their rock, meaning their power, their God, is not as a Mosai. Even our enemies themselves being judges. Even our enemies know that hey, it's a Mosai. Just like when we were in captivity, the person be in captivity. Just like hold on a second, give me Isaiah 14. Let's see, this is what I want. Let me see, this is what I want. No, hold on. I think it's a right. No, Isaiah 45. I'm sorry. Get Isaiah 45. Got it? Start with verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 1. Thus saith the Most High to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden.
Right. Thus said the Lord, the Most High, to his anointed, to Cyrus. Who was Cyrus? Cyrus was king of Persia, another nation, a heathen nation. The Most High, thus said the Most High to his anointed, to Cyrus. Cyrus is the king of Persia. Persian Median Empire, who had Israel in captivity. Remember, first the Babylonians had Israel in captivity about 580 something BC. The Assyrians, the Babylonians had the southern kingdom in captivity in about 586 BC. That's when they destroyed our temple. 586 BC. The Assyrians had the northern kingdom in captivity just about the same time, about a little before that. Then the Persian and Medes took over from the Assyrians and the Babylonians, and had all Israel in captivity. If we recall in 538 BC is when Cyrus decided to release the Israelites. The northern kingdom decided to come over this side of America, and the southern kingdom decided to go back to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple. So we can read right here, thus said the Lord to his anointed. The Most High anointed Cyrus. What does that mean, the Most High anointed Cyrus? What does it mean to anoint someone? We know the Mashiach Yahushua is our anointed Savior. Meaning what? He's chosen to be the Savior of Israel. Understand? But right here, the Most High saying Cyrus is anointed. The Most High is anointed, meaning he's chosen Cyrus to perform a certain function, to play a certain role. Understand? So it's always the Most High who's orchestrating things. He's choosing Cyrus to play a certain role right here. Read.
The book of Isaiah chapter 45, verse 1. Thus saith the Most High to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden to subdue nations before him, and I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut.
See that, brother? The Most High anointed Cyrus. He's the one elevating Cyrus now to the status of militancy, military power. He's giving Cyrus his military power. With whose right hand I'm holding. He's guiding Cyrus, leading him to subdue nation before him. Understand? So he's gonna increase Cyrus's military power, strengthen him military-wise, to take over these different nations, to rule. He's giving them a chance to rule. So anytime you see a nation ruling, it's the Most High who's giving that nation the power to rule at that particular point in time, for whatever period of time the Most High deems necessary, to perform whatever function the Most High wants to be performed. It's not these nations of themselves. That's why when it's in Deuteronomy, if only they were wise, not get too puffed up into thinking that they're the ones doing this of themselves. It's the Most High who's giving them the power to do this. And it says right here in verse 1, and I will loose the loins of kings. What does it mean to loose the loins of kings? You heard the term gird up your loins? What does it mean gird up your loins? Strengthen yourself. Get military, get strong. The Most High is going to loose the loins of kings. He's going to weaken those other nations. He's going to weaken them. And at the same time, he's going to strengthen Cyrus and lead him by the hand to take over these nations. So it's always the Most High. So that's all, brother. That's all these nations know, that they can go against Israel. The Most High put the spirit in them. Understand? And leading them, making them militarily strong to invade Israel, to punish Israel for our disobedience against the Most High. That's how they know. To open before him the two-leaved gates. What are the two-leaved gates? It's like a gate, the entrance into the city. So when they see Cyrus and his army coming, they're just going to open the gates so he can come in and conquer them and have them start paying tributes to him, paying ransom to him. So it's the Most High who does all these things. And the gates shall not be shut. So the Most High weaken these nations. That's why the Most High weakened Israel and strengthened this nation to come against us. That's what that's talking about. Let's go back to Revelation. I read 4 again. I'll get right into 5.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
And they worshiped the dragon, which is Satan, who gave power unto the beast. Esau, the different Edomite nations. And saying, who is like unto the beast? Who's like unto Esau, this nation? They got a military. Even the Russians. Definitely England, definitely America, France. They're the superpowers in the earth as far as the military. We know more of so-called Chinese. They got power to, but it's predominantly it's been Esau. They were blessed. That was Esau's blessing. He was blessed with a sword. What is a sword? It's a weapon. All right, verse 5.
Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies.
Right, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. Puffed up, talk about puffed up. Blasphemies. Everything Esau says for totally contrary to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. Give me Isaiah 14 and 13.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High.
Right, that's what Esau's done. Esau got this big plan, man. They actually planning to, for years they've been doing it, planning to establish residency, in outer space. Residency and military. He made movies of it. The Star Wars movie that's made, I think, in the 80s, Star Wars movie. That's just a movie they made to let you know what their plans are. They're planning to fight the Mashiach Yahweh and the angels coming back, and they're planning, they know the scripture know that Americans are prophesied to be destroyed. So they're actually planning residence in outer space. Right? Read 13 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 13. For thou hast said into thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation into the sides of the north.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Right now, what? The Pope, the so-called Christian church, they're the ones are being, look to be represented, be portrayed as being the righteous on this earth. It's Christianity. That's like the worldwide religion right now. All nations, even some of these so-called Arab countries. That's part of the reason why America's over these countries too. So-called trying to liberate these people from their own way of worshiping, trying to impose Christianity upon the whole world. That's what this is talking about. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation. They want to be part. They want to, spread this Christianity all over the world. Read.
Verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. That's how this links up right with what we just read in Revelation. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High. No. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemous. All these things that when they put about Caesar Borgia, when they said the so-called Jews, also the Jews are so-called white people. Caesar Borgia, when they said the Most High is white, even the angels are white. That's what this is talking about. They put themselves in a position of the Most High and the Israelites, and they miss them. And they overturn the laws, statutes, and commandments, but what they say, freedom of religion. Even while they're putting Christianity, they also have freedom of religion. Because the freedom of religion, even if you're not a part of the so-called Christian congregation, at least you're going to be a part of the society. Society you're supporting the society economically. Rome did the same thing. Back in the days, Rome did the same thing. That's why Rome got so big. They incorporated on the doctrines and philosophies of the pagan nations. Out of that came Christianity. And that's how they were able to get different nations under their so-called umbrella. In America, doing the same thing we're talking about the so-called melting pot. Different nations coming to America. Read.
Verse 15.
No, go back to Revelation. I'm sorry.
Revelation, chapter 13, and verse 5.
Right.
And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
Right. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. 42 months. That's 350 years. From 1620 to 1970. 1620 was like the height of the slave trade. And what called the culmination of the slave trade. From 1620 to 1970, 1970 was when what? The truth started coming out on a high level. Started being distributed, or people start gravitating to the truth. The Most High started waking up our people, opening up our eyes to stop calling Christianity and look to this truth. Read.
Verse 6. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven.
Right. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High. He blasphemed his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. How did they do that? We just read it. Job 9:24, to cover the face of the judges thereof. When they said that it real Jews and so-called white people in Israel today, Caesar Borgia, all those are examples of how they opened their mouth against the Most High, to blaspheme his name. Even the ones who said there's no God, atheist, all these are examples of how they did that. Read.
Verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
And it was given unto him. Who's a him? Okay, the wicked. Specific, that he was specific. Esau. And it was given unto him, Esau, to make war with the saints. Who are the saints? You got a script? Got it? Anybody got a script? Should know this. I feel you should know this.
What did you ask?
Read verse 7 again now.
Book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
It was given unto him to make war with the saints. Who made war with the saints? You said made war with the saints. Okay. Who are the saints? Yeah. Okay. And that's the script.
Psalm 50.
Okay, that's good. Another one.
Psalm 148.
Okay. I'll get also Psalms 97:10. Only to get Psalm 97:10.
The book of Psalm, chapter 97 and verse 10. Ye that love the Most High hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. He delivereth them out of the hand of the wicked.
Yeah, he that love the Most High hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. The Most High preserveth our souls. He delivered them out of the hand of the wicked. So to overcame the saints, but the Most High is preserving our soul and is going to deliver us from the hand of the wicked. All right, go back to Revelation 13 and 7. Read it again all the way through.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them.
Right, so it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And they did overcome us in slavery. Understand? Power was given unto them to overcome Israel. Read.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
Right. So the so-called white man, they became the superpower of the earth. After the head was the deadly wound was healed. In the so-called Renaissance, 1453 coming up. They came back into rulership and they started ruling the earth again. Continuation of the Roman Empire. That's what that's talking about. Verse 8.
Verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world.
Right. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. The beast, the dragon, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the earth, of the world. So anyone whose name are not written in this book, you see them falling into Christianity, falling into the philosophy of the so-called white man, and the religion, the holidays, the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Sunday church. All those are examples of how they follow the wonder after the beast and worship him. Read.
Verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Right. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. When we led into captivity? Was Israel led into captivity? Okay. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So this is something that we should be patient about and have faith, looking forward to. Get Jeremiah 30, verse 16.
The book of Jeremiah,
Jeremiah 30, verse 16.
chapter 30 and verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity.
Right. What is he talking about?
Why do they want to change?
What is he talking about? Talking about the big payback. James Brown would say, the big payback. A lot of people don't want to hear this. Talk about forgive and forget. These other nations, they don't forgive and forget. Especially the so-called Jews. And the so-called Holocaust. When they talk about when it comes to our enslavement for over 400 years, they want us to let bygones be bygones, forgive and forget. But them so-called Jews, they don't forgive and forget anything. From time to time, you read stories of some 80-year-old men, 90-year-old men, and then they found him somewhere in South America, living on an assumed name. They were able to track him back to to so-called Nazi Germany. You know what I mean? So I don't hold him accountable for it. But for us, forget about reparation, forget about any kind of compensation, forget about retribution. Just keep it moving. That's what they're telling me. But that's not what Mosiah is saying, no. The Mosiah says there's going to be a big payback. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, read on.
Every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
Right. So it's going to recompense the repercussions for slavery. The Mosiah uses nations to punish us for breaking his laws, statutes, and commandments. But at the same time, the Mosiah is going to wake up Israel and use us to take revenge on these very nations. That's what the Mosiah is orchestrating this. He sent them. He sent one to chase 1,000, two to chase 10,000. And so they were rocked in the Mosiah. But what? He's going to turn the tables when he's ready. Read.
Verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Most High. Because they call thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
Right, but so Mosiah is going to restore health unto us. Right now we're wounded. You're wounded, man. Wounded badly. Economically, physically, mentally, spiritually, in all aspects of wounded. But the Mosiah is going to restore health unto us in all those circumstances. So I will heal thee of thy wounds, said the Mosiah, because they call thee an outcast. We ostracized. All the nations then look upon Israel as if in nothing. Those derogatory names are calling us. We see what's going on, like we're saying when we went to camp last week. What's going on, the difference in how they treat on the Ephraimites in Puerto Rico, on the Benjamites in the U.S. Virgin Islands, versus how they treat on Esau in Houston and even right here in Florida. The ostracized, second-class citizens. Saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Used to be every time a so-called black people move into a so-called white people's neighborhood, what do? They often leave. But I see now in places like in New York, they're trying to recapture our neighborhood. Read 18.
Verse 18. Thus saith the Most High, Behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tent, and have mercy on his dwelling places.
Right. The Mosiah said, thus said the Mosiah, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. So the Most High is going to what? End our captivity and have mercy upon us again. Read.
And the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof.
Right. So we got the Most High is going to restore us back to our former glory that we had prior to be dominated by those various nations. Let's go back to Revelation. Yeah. 11, verse 11. Right?
Yeah. The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Right. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns. What is horn? What does horn signify? Horn, yeah. Let me get. Yeah.
Your head, authority.
Kind of, yeah. Right, leadership. Power. You mean, all right, I want to go to Daniel, but it's all right. The ram having two horns. Yeah. Persian the Medes, the power, government rulership. All right, forget it. Let's go back to Revelation. Read it again. Revelation 13, verse 11.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns. This beast is what? Is America. What are those two horns? Two main political parties. Republican, Democrats. Like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon. Spake like Esau. I spake like everything coming out of their mouth is satanic. Blasphemous. Read on.
Verse 12. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Right. And he exercises all the power of the first beast. The first beast was basically talking about Rome. It's Esau, but it's talking about it's rooted in the Roman Empire. And America, which really came out of England politically, but philosophically, it came out of Rome. Because everything America does is based on the Roman philosophy. They were the ones pushing the Caesar Borgia, Christianity and all that. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causing the earth and them which were therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So America is like an extension of the Roman philosophy, as far as doctrine goes. Because Caesar Borgia is in all the churches in America. Even the political system is based on deadly wound was healed. So whose deadly wound was healed? Do you recall? Whose deadly wound was healed? Rome, right? Right. When was the deadly wound healed? Right. Right. 1453, the Renaissance. Right. So America is a continuation philosophically of the Roman Empire, the Christianity, the doctrines. That's how because they want to worship the beast whose dead the wound was healed. Read.
Verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Right. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Who's a he? You got to be following this. Who's a he? And he doeth great wonders. Who's a he? Yeah.
Esau.
Yeah, Esau. Yeah, but which Esau? America, the second beast, which you're referring to. He doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. How did America make fire come down from heaven upon the earth in the sight of men? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. Read about how they drop bombs on Hiroshima and all that. Drop bombs in Iraq in the 80s, 90s. All those examples used to be like a TV show. Back in the days, they would call how many tomahawk bombs. They have this description of the different bombs that America was dropping in Iraq. Yeah. What's his name? Yeah, Saddam Hussein, those guys. Yeah. That's how they make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Because they got American Air Force, the Air Force carriers, the ships in the sea, they have how many planes they have on those aircraft carriers. Just take out this little lift up just like this. They don't have to travel around the runway like a plane in the airport. They just lift up and they're gone. Dropping bombs all over the place. Read.
Verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Right. That's how they deceive a lot of people. Because when they see America with all this military power, nobody want to mess with them. Everyone want to be done with America. Everyone want to come to America. That's why they deceive all these people. And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. These miracles aren't like, healing people. These miracles are things that which looks extraordinary, impossible, which you see other people aren't able to, other nations aren't able to do. That's how everyone become afraid of America. That's why everyone allow America to come into the country. Read.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they shall make an image of the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Right. Saying to everyone on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So that's why you see the board Christianity all over the world. Everyone is worshiping the so-called white supremacy. Even people read this Bible and know that the Mashiach Yahushua is a so-called black man. They refuse to acknowledge it publicly, saying, what does it matter? They just want to be down. They just want to conform. They just want to conform to the ways of America, even though they know it's all lies. Just to keep the peace. Why? Because Esau is ruling. And Esau ain't going to back down. They're not going to back down until the Mashiach Yahushua rise up to the fray. As long as they got the military power and the economic power, they're not going to back down. Read.
Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Right. See that? And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And a lot of poor people were killed. A lot of poor people were killed who refused to worship, who refused to become Christians. A lot of people were killed who refused to worship this image here. Killed physically and killed economically. Right?
Verse 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. I know there are the people who think this is a literal, literal mark. This mark is talking about what? The doctrine and philosophies, the teachings, the way of life. Because people from all spectrum of the economy, all part of our socio-economic background, to conform to Christianity. With the rich and poor are rich people in the smaller churches, poor people in the hood, they're all Christians, man. You see them every day walking to church. You see these mega these preachers living like superstars, jet planes, fancy cars. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Read.
Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. What is that talking about? And that no man Right. It's very hard to prosper economically in the society unless you conform to their ways, unless you be part of the inner circle. Yeah, in every walk of life in society, it's like that. Because to move ahead, what they call to climb up this the ladder, prosperity ladder, the ladder of success, you have to congregate with them. You have to go to the Christmas party, after party, and all those things. You have to have a drink with them and all that. Go to the bar with them. You have to be like them, because they're not going to promote anyone. We see what's going on in Hollywood right now with a guy we call it Weinstein. That's an example of that too. That's an example. You could use it as an example of hey, if you didn't get down with him, if the women you want to get down with him, they wasn't going to make it. He wasn't going to make the career was in jeopardy in Hollywood. The same thing with a lot of poor people. If you don't worship like the Esau worship, and you can hear different stories of blood sacrificing and all that, the Satanic worship, even the entertainers. If they don't conform to their ways, and go as far as to worship the beast, you have a hard time succeeding in Hollywood, even in the corporate world. You don't get the loans to start these businesses. Even college, they have these fraternities in colleges. like the George Bushes and Yale University, the Skulls and Bones. Yeah, what's his name was Secretary, I think it was Secretary of State Kerry. All those guys, a lot of these guys are now in the higher ups in the political world. They were part of some kind of in colleges, part of some kind of fraternities. And when they leave colleges, they were like secret societies, man. Yeah, but they have a secret network of these people. And if they don't conform to their way, the devil worship, and the rituals and all that, you have no hard time succeeding in society to a certain. It's like what they call an invisible glass ceiling. That's what they call a glass ceiling, because you can see through it's invisible. You can't advance beyond a certain point if you're not a part of your society. Religiously, politically, and all that. Worshipping the demons and the devils, the performing the rituals. That's what this is talking about. And that no man might buy or sell. You can't conduct business on any high level. Save he that had the mark, meaning what? The philosophy, the doctrines, the way of life, the abominable way of life, or the name of the beast. The Hebrew Israelite, when they know you're Hebrew Israelite, you ain't going nowhere. Or the number of his name. Right?
Verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Right. So here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his name is 666. See the 666 right here? It's actually the Hebrew, the name of blasphemy. It's actually numerical values put on the different names that was given to Esau. The Hebrew names are the numerical values. When you add them up, you actually come down to 666. Bring that. I have it home somewhere. Well, it's right in Revelation somewhere. Here it is. Here, Revelation 17:5. When they add up these different, read Revelation 17:5.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Right. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and abomination of the earth. Those three terms, the Hebrew words have certain numerical values. When you add them up, they come up to 666. So we know this is actually talking about America. Here's the shadow of a doubt. So with that, we're going to conclude tonight's service. And of course, we know tomorrow, 12 o'clock, noonday, Most High willing, we're going to do the portions. So the Most High about Shema Jigawasha. Okay? So we're going to conclude with Psalms 193. Amadim Wapanya, Yarashidam, stand and face Jerusalem. Shayar, Ama Ilwa, Yanawad, Kana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Naayam, Shabbat, Akyam, Gam, Yakad, Kashaman, Atawab, Al, Araash, Yarad, Al, Azakwan, Zakwan, Ha'aran, Shayarad, Al, Paya, Madawak Yawa, Katal, Karamwan, Shayarad, Al, Araria, Kazayawan, Paya, Sham, Kazawa, Ya'awa, Abaraka, Kayawam, Aid, Iwalam, Masham, Mashiach, Awashad. The water Aman.
The water Aman.
Done.
Psalms 133 English. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded a blessing, even life forevermore. Mahashim, Hamashiach Yehoshua, the water to God, Amen.
Amen.
The Most High name.
Abanawa Yahawah, Shema Mashik Yawashab Raksta.
The sticks don't burn like these.
Yeah, I know. It's a big difference,
Yeah.
Abanawa Yahawah, Shema Mashik
Good to see you.
Does it come get you right? Call me.
Hey, before y'all leave, grab a piece of my cake. I baked it.
Ladies.
Grab a piece of my cake.
Hollywood.
You got some beats on it?
What? You good? Hey, what is that? Let me get it. I told you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's all right. That's right.
I can't see this. My sword is going to be a third day. Third day is going to be
While this YouTube back.
we be children. We don't need you got the headlines here.
It's still all four of them got to check what?
What I guess he was probably switching in and out of lane. Yeah, and what happened was like a car, like you know how cars like slowing down and they start getting even. He was trying to cut it out, but you know we couldn't make it, so we tried to swerve back. In the car.
No, not good.
This is the last stream on. This is the last stream on.
Salakio brothers, have a good night. Shalom, brother family.